Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We've got a great session lined up. Our guest today is a man who spent 15 years, more than 15 years in the trenches of the FX industry, engineering the very system that brokerages rely on. He has a very deep background in automation and a track record as the former COO of GTC Trade Capital, and he's now the Chief Product Strategist at FYNXT. In less than 12 months, he took his years of experience and built the TradeOps Control Center, a full automation suite for MT4 and MT5. Today, he's giving us a peek under the hood to show us how it actually works. Elian, Daoud, welcome. The spotlight is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Denise. Thank you, everyone, for joining. It's such a pleasure being hosted by Finance Magnates. In today's session, I would be going through TradeOps Control Center. But before I do that, I just want to start with a simple opening, basically. Your MetaTrader manager was actually built in 2007, but your operations team actually is working in 2027. So what does that mean? It means there's a 20 years gap, and this gap is, the terminal your back office is sitting inside today is on a 20-year-old technology. It was built for a world that doesn't really exist anymore. And your team is still there, right? In every single day, clicking through it hand and doing one account at a time. Now, I'm referring to here MetaTrader 4 or MT4. MT5 did catch up. It's a much better platform. And in an ideal world, every broker in this room would be fully migrated by now. But here's the honest truth that we have to know about, that brokers do not decide when to shift from MT4 to MT5. It's clients. They do that. So as long as your clients are comfortable with MT4, as long as you should be as well, right? So the dependency on MetaTrader isn't going anywhere, at least not anytime soon, which means the tedious or manual tasks that we're going to go through, someone has to solve them. Someone has to solve these issues, right? So that you can actually serve your clients properly, fast, compliant, and at scale without burning out your team in that process. Now, I'm going to be straight with you why this matters to me personally. Before I moved into product with FYNXT, I spent years in middle office and operations. I'm one of the staff that used to sit on the terminal at 2 a.m. in the morning, fixing bad batches, fixing issues, late nights before a holiday or reconciliations, bulk updates, all of these, which I'm going to be walking you through. So when we at FYNXT decided to build the answer to this, we didn't just build it from questioning or talking to a client. We built it from the inside out, from people who have actually done the job. That's what TradeOps Control Center is all about. It's an all-in-one operation suite. Basically, everything a broker needs to automate the MetaTrader grind in one place. We spent the last 12 months mapping out the hours that actually the brokers have to go through and then trying to get rid of them. So for the next half hour, I'll be showing you what we built, how it works under the hood, and then we'll probably talk a little bit about phase 2, which is the AI part we are working on next. So I'll be probably doing a small stop at around after dynamic leverage, allowing for questions and answering them. But for now, let me just share my screen. Okay. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Adonis?
Yep, it looks good.
Right. Okay. So This is TradeOps Control Center. It's actually built for both MT4 and MT5. Everything in the platform sits on 6 pillars, and they really fall into 2 halves. The first half is the half that keeps you safe, risk management, compliance, a full audit trail behind every action. And the other half makes you faster, the automation, the advanced operations, and the fact that the whole thing is modular. The word modular is worth holding on to because I'll come back to it a few times. So you don't have to take all of this in day one. Most brokers, start with one tool or two tools to fix their biggest pain point, and then they grow into the rest. So let me show you what's in here. Instead of just listing out the features, which I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna give you some insights, okay, about situations your ops team or marketing team have to go through, right? And what does this actually solve? So let's assume something breaks mid-session, a bad feed, a bad fill, whatever it is that you need to fix it fast. That's the incident management piece. Bulk close trades, fix balances, and then you're back to normal in minutes instead of hours. Or your finance team is just buried in deposits, withdrawals on a busy day. That's the process. That's the payment processing side. So high volume, fast, and every transaction has an audit trail behind it. Now here's a common one. Let's say there's a global holiday coming up, and then you need to adjust sessions across a bunch of servers. That's the holiday and marketing events tooling. You schedule it once, it applies to every server, and afterwards it reverts itself automatically so nobody forgets to put it back. Marketing comes to you on a Friday saying we need a promotion live by Monday. New spread, new leverage, one specific client segment. That's the promotional campaign, etc., etc. So these 6 situations, every broker in this room knows, but you do not have one platform that handles all of them. So that's the summary at a high level. Let's go to the next slide. So this is basically the full suite. I will not go through every box because honestly, that would be a little bit boring. I'm just gonna group them into separate parts, right? So the first group is your accounts updater and your configuration tools. Account updater, groups updater, and symbol updater, which handle basically your bulk changes, leverage, group settings, passwords, symbol sets. So this kind of configuration work that normally takes up a lot of time. The second group is the finance and scheduling side, balance updater for high volume deposits and withdrawals. And I'm talking about both cash and credit application, where you get to determine what the MT4 and MT5 comments is all about, right? And then you also have your swaps updater with a rollback, holiday scheduler for handling closures across all your servers at once. And the last batch is the third group, which is the trade creator, updater, and closer for creating, fixing, and closing trades in bulk, and all of them validated and logged, plus the other housekeeping tools, session time updater, manager creator, and accounts archiver. I'll talk about them more in depth, but for now, I'll just be listing them. So you see there are 2 premium add-ons. These are actually plugins, dynamic leverage and swap-free tools. And trust me when I say they are not exactly what they seem to be. I will explain what I mean once I jump into the slide. But basically, these are one of the 2 most powerful pieces in the whole platform. They are the ones I'm going to take you through in a little bit more detail, because that's what I think TradeOps really separates itself from a faster version of manual work. Everything you've just seen is modular. So let me just slow down and take you into the engine room a little bit. Right, so starting off with dynamic leverage, Okay, for a lot of brokers in this room, this is going to be the most valuable thing in the suite. Let me pitch it to you properly. So most brokers today are running on a static leverage, or if you are running on a dynamic leverage, it would be probably not according to the settings that we have set here. So let's say you set a client at the 1 to 500 leverage, and that's what it stays. Whether the market's quiet, whether there's news coming, whether it's a thin liquidity window over the weekend, and the brokers who do try to manage leverage are usually doing it across multiple systems, probably manually jumping between tools, and it's probably a slow and error prone. It's reactive. So by the time you've adjusted, potentially the damage is usually done. So what did we build here? What did we actually build in dynamic leverage? What we've built is two things differently. And these two things I really want you to remember. This is what separates us from other competitors. The first one is hierarchy, right? You can set your leverage rules at 3 levels: at the individual login, at the group, and at the symbol. And they resolve that, and then they resolve in that order. So a rule on a single login overrides the group, and the group overrides the symbol, and so on. What that gives you is real control. You can set a broad policy. Let's say, I don't know, you want to put a dynamic leverage according to volume, etc. You can set a broad policy for your entire book, and at the same time, you can carve out one VIP trader that you want to give them, different settings, without touching anything else, without touching the other infrastructure. And the second thing, and this is the biggest differentiator, it's fully scheduled. So, I mean, your team does not have to be sitting there the moment something happens to change the dynamic leverage. You can schedule it ahead of time. Say you have some market news, NFP, or on a Friday afternoon or something. Historically, you'd need to have someone in operations watching the clock and then tightening the leverage on a certain symbol right before the actual news. Now, with this, your risk team sets it on a Monday morning. They schedule a leverage tightening from, say, 1 hour before the release, or probably even a few days before, right? And then you can schedule it to get applied and then revert back beyond that. And because you've planned it ahead, you actually get the time to communicate it with your clients. Your marketing or your client services team can schedule email notifications to the affected clients in days in advance, letting them know that the leverage change is coming. And when that kicks in, it simply reverts back. So instead of clients getting blindsided by a sudden change, they are informed, they're prepared, they trust you more for being transparent about it. And yeah, that's a side effect of scheduling the most brokers don't realize that they're missing today. So that's the real pitch, a 3-level hierarchy plus the scheduling. So you're not reacting to risk anymore, you're getting ahead of it. Now let me a little bit dive deeper here into the technicalities of dynamic leverage. So what is it that I'm talking about? So this is the actual engine. I'm not going to go into detail about what is in here. I'm going to split it instead into 3 different sections. So if you look at the priority that I was speaking about earlier, login wins over group, group wins over symbol, and symbol falls back to security group. That's the platform default, right, at the very bottom. So you always know which rule is being fired according to this hierarchy. The second part is the calculation part. So you get to determine what kind of calculation your broker or you want to apply to your clients, right? Whether it is total volume across the account or volume on a single symbol. Other brokers think it's a notional value, actual dollar exposure. So both are valid. those are things determined, and all of this is managed through a UI. They are managed through a UI, a web UI that controls all of the system, right? For all of these tools that I'm mentioning. So it is very user friendly. It gives to the broker access or control to, properly, manage it easily in an all-in-one platform. Other competitors, they simply give you different tools that can, or plugins that have to be installed on a desktop application or on a server to actually run. I know that because I've actually practiced them myself. So, uh, so where was I? Okay, so the third one, right, is the scheduling. This is where the scheduling lives. You can create a rule, and then you can edit, republish it, you can disable it, and then the whole life cycle is built into the tool. So when I said your team can set up the NFP rule on a Monday and walk away, that this is the part that actually does that. Rules can have an activation time and a deactivation time. They go live when they're meant to, and then when they retire, you don't have to be there in front of the screen, right? So that's honestly the most technical slide in the whole deck. Obviously, for a more detailed session, I'm gonna be sharing you the link where you can subscribe to this, and one of our account managers will there on, schedule a call with you and take it in much more depth. Okay, I mean, before I jump into swap free, if anyone does have any questions, particularly about um, dynamic leverage, Adonis, I'm happy to take them. Otherwise, I will just carry on.
Yeah, maybe we can wait for a second or two until people type their questions if they have any. I'm wondering,
Sure.
what does the learning curve look like? How long does it take for a broker to learn how to use these tools, and specifically in dynamic leverage?
Well, dynamic leverage specifically, I mean, and that goes for all the tools, right? What we've prepared two things to help brokers get set up very quickly. One is a 3-minute video about each and every tool that any staff can watch and learn it. And then obviously there's the user guides as well, which will help them. And on top of all of that, we do one-on-one sessions to help them. Now, understanding dynamic leverage alone is a little bit more complex than other tools, because you have your calculation of notional and margin, but realistically, the target market we're looking at here would be the head of operations, the head of trade-offs. So people who are already familiar with it, they're just looking for a tool that helps them do that. That would be the pain point, basically. And there is one thing actually I would like to mention as well, Adonis. The UI has been built to look exactly like MT4 and MT5 administrator. I'm not going to be sharing the UI in this session. There is the brochure that's going to be shared after it. But the good thing that I do want to share is any operation staff that has worked with MT4, MT5 admin will be able to easily work with this tool, because every screen is exactly the same.
Okay, so I don't think I see any questions. I don't know. Can you see any questions? So, okay, if we don't have any questions, I think we can move to the swap free tool. Elian, you are muted.
Oh, apologies. So yeah, I mean, that's not a problem. We do still have a couple of slides to go through. By that time we finish the session, if anyone does have anything, I mean, please do post them. I'm really anxious and looking forward to getting some feedback. Right. So next one is the swap free tool. Right. So the swap free tool, and I want to be upfront with you here. This is the one that I'm actually really proud of, because when most people hear swap free tool, they think it's a simple on and off switch, zero swaps or default swaps. That's not actually what we've built. This is a full swap pricing engine. Every rule combines into two parameters: days, which is how often swaps are charged, and second is the multiplier, which is the rate. Days can be 0 for fully swap free, or 1 for daily, or 3 or 7, whatever you want. But the idea is the swap free tool allows you to charge different kind of swaps with different kind of multipliers according to the same set of rules applied in dynamic leverage, the same hierarchy, I mean, login, group, and symbol. So you're not just choosing a swap free or not anymore. You're giving a premium client half a rate of swaps weekly, or you can offer a VIP. You can offer a VIP one symbol completely swap free, and another at triple the rate. You can run completely different pricing models across different segments of your book. And then on top of all of that, like I said, you've got the hierarchy. Every rule can be applied at 3 levels: login, symbol, or group. And they resolve in that order. Login overrides symbol, symbol and group overrides symbol. So you can set a broad policy and carve out exceptions as such, right? So I'll say that confidently. This combination, the days plus multiplier, the 3 levels hierarchy, there's no other competitor on the market that actually offers this. Everyone else gives you a swap free flag. We're giving you a full pricing engine. And there's one more piece. Let me just jump into it here and show you. Right. So on the left, this is exactly what I just described, right? The check category at the top is your 3-tier hierarchy: login, group, or symbol, and then the 2 rows below it, days and multiplier. That's the pricing flexibility. Every rule combines those parameters and tags it to one of those levels. So the engine works exactly the way I just said, right? And then you have your scheduling model. Every rule has an active, from, and to date. So you can pre-program a swap-free window, say, for the whole of Ramadan month, let's say, or any specific period you're running a promotion or anything, right? So your system turns it on and off automatically, right? And then the last part, and this is the part that actually I think will surprise some, is that this swap-free engine can plug in directly into your CRM. Whether that is our FYNXT CRM or any other dynamic CRM. So beyond login, group, and symbol, you can also create target rules at countries or at specific IBs. For example, anyone under a specific country, you want them to be applied on a specific swap-free rule. Or anyone under a specific IB, you want these logins to be automatically added and pulled straight from whichever CRM you're running, right? And then if an IB gets reassigned, the rules follow them automatically. This is exactly what I'm talking about, that no other competitor has these functionalities. So put the picture together: 3-tier hierarchy, full pricing flexibility, scheduling, CRM integration on top. So yeah, that's not a swap-free toggle. That's a compliance engine. All right. Okay. I mean, let me come down here and just go into the next slide, because these were the main strong tools that I wanted to talk about, right? So yeah, next you have your accounts updater, right? So what it does, it simply allows you to update, modify anything relating to leverage, groups, passwords, or personal information. anything in accounts, you can do it in bulk, right? So how does it work? You simply upload the CSV file, and then obviously you follow the formatting, right? There are template guidelines, etc. And then it does kind of a pre-flight check, and you can see if there are any errors. It detects it, and then it it gets applied to multiple servers at once, right? Uh, and then at the bottom, you get to see the logs or the output file of that batch, whether it has been fully completed or not, whether it is partial or not. So at all times, any batch or any job that you run it will have an output, a CSV output, and obviously the overall job and the audit where you can track them. Next, we have manager creator, right? So this one fixes a problem that sounds small, but it's actually a real security and governance risk. And I kind of created that on the back of, one of the processes that I used to work with back, a few years ago, which is to manage the MT4, MT5 manager accounts of the staff internally, right? So you have a new staff that just joined you, right? They get a manager access, and then then you have other staff and other staff, etc. Right? So, but then before you know it, you've got dozens of these accounts spread across multiple servers that no one's kind of really tracking. And when someone leaves, the offboarding is manual and easy to forget. So what this tool gives you this full control over creating these managers according to a naming convention, right? That you get to choose how the account is open and how is it closed, according to what you get to put in which IP to be whitelisted as well from that same window, right? You can schedule it as well. Say you have a staff joining or starting at a specific date, you don't have to do it manually, right? You just do it once, and then you schedule it to be done, and that's it. You can schedule an on offboarding as well. Say the staff has resigned, you want to schedule closing their manager at a specific time. Your technical team or IT doesn't have to necessarily come in on the weekend or something to do that job, right? You can simply do that ahead. Next, we have accounts archiver. So what is accounts archiver? And this is kind of the last tool. I'm gonna talk kind of deep about it. The other tools, I'm gonna kind of give a summary about all of them one by one, but without that much in depth. So accounts archiver, right? We all know, or whoever's actually here from the operations team who uses MT4, MT5 admin knows that MT4 does have a archiving policy, right? You manage that from your group settings, but MT5 does not have that. And then what you do, you'll have to manually archive the accounts, and then you'll have to go to orders and archive them as well. It's a really tedious process, and they cannot be scheduled. So what have we built here? We've simply built one tool that allows you to schedule or individually or in bulk, right? Upload and do this archiving. You either choose to upload the CSV or you can do them individually. And then you get to set the parameters. You get to set the parameters according to what you'd like to archive these accounts. So I'm talking about balance, no open positions or orders, and then if they have a negative balance or not, you get to simply tick them in a simple, beautiful, user-friendly UI that actually allows you to do that job very smoothly across all servers in a very simple and easy way, right? Obviously, the accounts archiver, I'm sure you know, is a lengthy process. So normally, maybe thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, sometimes, a lot of orders have to be archived on a specific date. So from a risk perspective or from a security perspective, we have taken into consideration this factor, right? So the system automatically splits your batch. Let's say you have let's say you have 10,000 accounts to be archived on this weekend, but the underlying orders under them, which are supposed to be archived as well, right, are about 1 million order or 1 million transaction. So doing this actually takes hours. Sometime, like whenever we used to do such a job, it used to take around 8 hours or 9 hours, like a full day. And we had to do it on the weekend because we were scared sometimes the server would crash or something would happen. So we have taken that into consideration here, and the actual system will split your it will split the task or the job into different batches, right? Let's say up 50,000 batches at a time, or 10,000, etc. So it will split them into batches, and then it will run these tasks in different ones, so that if there any issue happening, the entire task is not affected, right? And then it does so in a smooth way, right? So yeah, there's about 7 slides left. I'm just gonna go back to the start where I was showing all of our tools, and I'm just gonna be talking kind of a summary about the rest of them, right? And then beyond that, you guys, if anyone does have any question, I'll be taking that. So everything else, every other tool here works kind of in a similar way, whether it's a CSV upload or not. So the bulk operations, validations, multi-server sync, approval workflows, full audit trail, right? So you have your simple updater here, so which bulk symbol configuration cross servers, same upload, you validate and approve the execution flow. You have your groups updater, you standardize your leverage margins and execution rules across different servers. Balance updater, it does bulk deposits and withdrawals with fraud and duplicate prevention built into the validation step. Your swaps updater, allows you to update long and short swap rates across thousands or hundreds of symbols at a time, across multiple servers. And then you get the output, so a reconciliation is available at the time. And then a rollback also is available as well. Then you have your holiday scheduler and session time updater, which allows you basically to schedule your closures and session time changes across every server. And then the system reverses them back automatically, right? And that one feature actually alone removes one of the most common operation mistakes there is, which is forgetting to switching back session times. I'll tell you something a little bit about session time updater. We used to do that, in a previous role a few years back. It's a really tedious and manual piece of work. So, and it's very easily, prone to errors, right? And then at last we have the bulk tools: trade creator, updater, and closer, and they are mostly used for incident management. Suppose, right, you have an outage, you have a slip, you had like one of your symbols have stopped pricing, and that has probably, I don't know, slipped clients or affected them either negatively or in a positive way. How do you fix it? How do you fix thousands of clients at once? So incidents, right, require a special set of tools to fix them. So this is what trading creator, updater, closer are all about, where you get to fix and close these trades with every action and validate it. right? So let me just go to the last slide here. Everything I've shown you actually today is actually really doing one thing. It takes the manual MetaTrader work and then basically and it does it with the control, with the precision, and with the full audit trail. I can see here some questions. I'll just jump into them in a second, you guys. Thank you so much. Right, so here's what I want you to walk away remembering. Everything you've just seen actually is just phase one. Phase one is just about uh, automation. So we are taking the work a one person does by hand and letting the system does it instead. Phase two will focus more on the AI part, on the AI part, which basically will allow the broker to first of all communicate with the AI to ask about the user guides. So instead of having to read all these user guides, you can ask target questions how to use the portal. That's number one. Number two, it will also help you as well generate those CSV files and validate them. It will also aid in your reconciliations by applying it through AI and giving you a summary of them rather than you having to open those CSVs and simply analyze them yourself, and a bunch of other things. Right? Okay. Let me stop sharing and take some questions, Adonis.
Yep, we have two questions here.
So Kavita asking, what happens to our current plugin configurations when we switch? I'm not sure I understand the question, but basically the UI controls the plugin. So everything you manage, you do it from the web UI, and then it updates the plugin on the back end through the fields, right? Whether that is for swap free or for dynamic leverage. That's actually the back end of things. I don't know if that answers your question, Kavita. Otherwise, yeah. And yeah, and then Kushal is asking, we've had dynamic leverage tuned for 2 years. How do you validate your plugin gives identical outputs? Yes, so that's a really, really good question, Kushal. Actually, we are giving a 7-day or a free trial basically for any broker that wishes to test this according to the settings. So prior to deploying, we'll work hand in hand with you guys, and we will support you with a ideally, I mean, by default 7-day free trial. But things like dynamic leverage, etc., probably might take more time. We're happy to walk and read your settings and apply them and work in a staging environment, and then yeah, whenever you are happy to deploy, then we deploy beyond that. In fact, some of our brokers have already done that or doing that as we speak, because the settings are more, I mean, we have more feature than others, so they take more testing. So this was actually what we're doing. Okay, another from Nitin. Nitin is saying we have IB accounts tied to specific groups with custom spreads. When we run a groups updater batch, does it protect those IB specific overrides or flatten them? Right. So let me explain a little bit about groups updater. That's a very good question, by the way. So groups updater allows you, just like in admin, right? In admin, if you want to update any specific group settings, whether that is the spread, I'm talking about markups or rebates or even the margins, right? You have your symbol margins there, your reports, or anything, right? You do them one by one. This tool allows you to do it in bulk. So instead of having to do them one by one, you change the settings in a simple CSV, right? So it's not related to an IB or a specific client. It targets your MT4, MT5 admin rather than your staff having to do them manually one by one, right? This CSV helps you to do it in bulk. Now, let me bring up a use case here. Why would you want to bulk update groups in batches? So in my years of work, around, I believe, 10, 12 years ago, there was a big shift in the market between regulations. When FCA has just recently introduced margin changes, and we've had to migrate and update groups at within one day. Basically, we had to do that job within one day, backdate all groups, change the margin of each symbol. And then what followed the FCA was all the other regulations. There was ASIC, and then there was the DFSA in Dubai, and and so on and so forth. So mainly the biggest use case for groups updater would be whenever you have big changes happening that you want to fix your fix your servers in a specific way. So that is why these tools, if I would split them, they are built for different size brokers. I would say medium to big size brokers. When I say medium to big size, I'm not talking in terms of P&L. I'm talking about number of servers. 8 or more servers would actually benefit from all these tools, and 8 and less probably would mainly benefit from 5 or 6 of these tools. So I'm talking about your accounts updater, groups updater, symbols updater, swaps updater, dynamic leverage, and swap free. Obviously they all have use cases. I will have to study it with your company, see how big is your operations team. Some companies have done their operations team more efficiently than others, so it's a case by case. Yeah, another question from Rashmin. As you mentioned, admin permissions are required, so does the broker need to provide admin rights or MT4? Very good question. So initially, when you set up with FYNXT, you have to just create one manager for us, which obviously have to be admin. But then for your team, for your staff, you will create those users within the UI, within the TradeOps Control Center UI, and then you get to allocate them. You get to allocate them the specific access rights of the tool, of what they see there, rather than admin. So what I'm working on doing actually is a replacement, hopefully within the phase 2 or phase 3, of entirely MT4, MT5 admin, because MT4 admin specifically is not really flexible when it comes to giving access rights. You either have admin or you don't. So there are certain functions. Sometimes you don't want to give your operation staff access to everything, right? You just want to give them ability maybe to just update swaps. So what we're doing here is tackling your operations trading team from different aspects, not just saving hours. There's a bunch of things, like I said at the start, compliance, audit is also a big aspect of it. Okay, I hope I have answered your questions. Yeah, thank you so much. Adonis, over to you.
Well, if nobody else has anything else to add, or if
I want you to
Elian,
ask me. I want you to ask me something.
To ask you what?
About AI. I don't
yeah.
something about AI. Now it's kind of the trend and everything.
Yeah, I will ask you something about AI. This is a lot of information. Do you plan any AI copilot tool that will help a broker ask in a natural, plain language what they want without going all through the manuals, which I assume are very long?
Yes, it is. It is in the plans, honestly, Adonis. It is in the plans, but we've just launched this product. Speaking about such a, because when we are able to achieve this, actually, there's big risks, but I don't think we'll ever reach where the AI will actually do the entire task or job on its own because of the securities and risks involved. We are dealing, like I said at the start, MT4 is a 20-year-old infrastructure, right? I mean, it's old technology. Sometimes, during my experience, it just disconnects without any reason. I mean, it's very rare, but it can happen. So imagine having AI tied to this. So I would prefer much more having AI on the upper layer, which is the TradeOps itself, summarizing the jobs, giving insights to the user, rather than letting it action the job itself. We're not there yet with AI, at least. I mean, the entire world, the technology, it's not 100% bulletproof. So we'll just have to wait a bit. But there will be a phase 2 AI coming soon, I hope. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure, or I hope everyone will like it. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow, we have 55 people.
Yeah, it's had a great attendance actually. At some point, we had 57 or 58 people.
We have a question from Justin. Do we still have time to answer?
Yep, we do. Let's answer this as our last question.
Okay, so we have accounts on MT4 and MT5 under the same clients. Can a single CSV operations touch both platforms? Yes, you can, Justin. That's a very good question. So the way the platform operates, right? Because because each of them is a separate server, so you can upload one CSV, and what it will do, it will run in parallel in a queue, because they are two separate connections. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about the job being, to wait. And I've made sure of that, because some brokers maybe have 20 servers, that are connected here. And suppose they want to do bulk update on multiple servers, then it will take a long time to do it one by one. So the manager API will actually run them in parallel across multiple servers. And then you obviously can see the output or live live tracking of the logs directly from the UI. I wish I can show you this, but just feel free. You guys, look, I have added the link. If anyone did not see it, let me just share my screen one quick time again. So please visit finnex.com/product/TradeOps Control Center and just sign up. And happy to show you this offline in another call, and about how the UI looks like. Hope I answered your question, Justin.
So I think that's a wrap for today's session. A huge thanks to Elian, and a huge thanks to our audience for being here with us. Before you leave, for those who want to share or watch again this session, we will be uploading it on our Finance Magnates YouTube channel. Keep an eye on your inbox, and you will receive a notification email shortly. That's all we have for today. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.